you going? What are you drinking tonight? Let's keep them flowing. Where do you come from? Where are you going? What are you feeling tonight? And what are you showing? Where do you come from? 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 Where are you going? What are you drinking tonight? Let's keep them flowing.
Awful.
All right, we are live on the download, and that's right, there's not a lot to download this week, but what we do have to download is quality. We got some excellent panelists with us today to talk about everything going on. And Nads, thanks for joining in on us. Appreciate you hopping on by. We've got Call of Duty to talk about. We've got Concord shutting down and everything behind Firewalk Studios, as well as new Pokemon stuff coming up. And guess what? Russia is suing Google for $20 bajillion. And we're going to talk about it all. So why don't we get into everybody, what they've been up to this week, and how we like to start. So, Jem, what have you been gaming on this week? How you been?
I have been playing Black Ops 6, getting my full use out of that 1 month of Game Pass. I already prestige, and I'm nearly like out of my second prestige. And yeah, I went back onto the finals. That's my that's my crack. That's my cocaine.
Oh
Yeah.
wow, you re-downloaded the finals.
Yeah, I'm back on
Callie,
finals.
if you're around, your ears just may have perked up. But that's awesome. Good to hear. And yes, Call of Duty, the new flavor, thanks to Game Pass, is really accessible. Vet, you are on mute.
I'm here.
What have you been gaming on?
Not much. I've just been Among Us. I've been doing my sports stuff with Ray, and then just the usual. Just sit around in this Discord and hang out with all you fine people.
Awesome, awesome. And SPG, what have you been gaming on this week?
Man, the only thing I've really been gaming on this week is Cyberpunk. I've been running around Night City pretending to be Batman. It's about it, man.
Hey, Batman's not a bad place to be, and that new VR, ooh, it looks cool. I'd like to check that out too. Maybe one day. And Nads, what have you been gaming on this week? What have you been up to?
Hey, so gaming was I think low this week, But we play some Divers on Monday as usual, and Tuesday we play some Among Us, and it was good to see everybody tagging along. It's always good fun to play that game, right? So, and other than that, I haven't been playing much game. Or if you consider like mobile gaming, well, as usual, I've been playing some Raid Shadow Legend and also some Maple Story M mobile. So it's always a lot of fun. It's easy. It's accessible through your phone. So that's why I kind of like it because when I'm like just sitting around or I feel like gaming, I can like just boot it up on my phone, right? So
Yeah, and you need to
and that's pretty much
contact
it.
whoever makes Maple Story because you bring it up every single week. You're like, Maple Story, it's so easy to play mobile, so much fun. You are the biggest
Yeah.
advocate for Maple Story that I've ever heard.
No, wait, hold on.
Well, so Maple Story was made. It's made by Nexon, the same company that make the final, the same company that make the First Descendant. So they're a big company, and I play Maple Story when it released in North America in 2000. I want to say 6 or 7. I started playing. Like when it was like fresh at the beginning. And funny enough, now they released the Maple Story World, which you can play a version of the old school Maple Story, which is Artel, until Maple Land is released in North America. Currently, Maple Land's only available in South Korea, but something to check out, right?
Yeah, Maple.
Can I just say,
Yeah.
Maple Story is literally my favorite MMO of all time, and I'm
Okay.
I'm so happy
Exactly.
to know that there's another person who loves Maple Story. I fucking love Maple Story.
Well, there
Who
we go.
does
Two
them? It's
kindred spirits.
I
No,
know. It's
you don't
just like it
understand.
wasn't
Maple
the first
Story is a
MMO.
unique MMO. The community in that game is next level.
Yeah, it
Oh my
was a lot
gosh.
of grinding before, but yeah, it's an interesting game. If you go play Maple Story nowadays, it's just so much. It's hard to catch up. But if you want to try the old school, you'll see it's got very grindy, but a lot of fun. And then again, like it's funny because Artel came out on Maple Story World, and it just became so popular so quickly. So yeah, I can't wait to see Maple Story World, but like with Maple Land, which has
And
like so many people playing it.
I have a question. Is this game Canadian or is it just called Maple Story? Well, you
Yeah, I
said
was gonna
South
say.
Korea.
It made well, it's South Korean, but I think they had a taste of maple syrup of Canadian taste, and that's why. But yeah, that's just me thinking that. I just picked up on the name because it had maple on it and it had the story, so I was like, come on, it must be Canadian made or something, you know?
I wonder if they have better numbers in Canada just because of the maple name.
Maybe, I don't know. That's funny.
Oh, well that looks like a lot of chaos and definitely a lot of fun. Man, you're going to make me download Maple Story just to check it out cuz I've heard you talk about it so much.
Ah, yeah, definitely. You can play on GFN actually, so.
Oh, there you go, GFN plug. Well, let's get into the news stories
Yeah.
we got this week, and we're starting with the big one. That's right, Call of Duty has launched onto Game Pass, and the big news that I want to bring is 500 million people have come to the franchise now over its 24 titles released over time, which is absolutely astronomical. This has become a flagship franchise, second only to It's a Mia Mario. So crazy success for these guys. First person shooter has done extremely well. And Black Ops 6 brought that many more people back into it. My question to the panel is the Game Pass question. So this is the very first game released on Game Pass. Right now, we have estimates of about 2.5 to 4 million new Game Pass subscribers, and we're hearing that They are seeing a loss in sales at about 10% on Xbox, and seeing about 6 million copies sold less right now. And that's just the numbers that I'm reading from these articles. So my question is, will this experiment work? Game Pass, will it be better for which side? If anyone wants to share any thoughts, we will start at the top. Jem, what do you think about the Game Pass Call of Duty experiment?
So, Game Pass is great for consumers, has always been, and that hasn't changed yet. And speaking from personal experience, the last Call of Duty I've played like a lot was Call of Duty Ghost. I think that was like the first COD on PS4 with that fish AI thing, which didn't even exist in the game. I still remember when they were talking about that. But anyways, that was the last Call of Duty game I played a lot of. And every year Call of Duty comes out. Sometimes I would check the beta out. Sometimes I won't. Like I'm not someone who likes Call of Duty that much. But this time, saw you guys playing Black Ops 6. I thought, you know what? Let me just pay 1 month of Game Pass and get into it. And I got hooked. I got addicted to it a bit. And that wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for Game Pass. Now, if it wasn't for Game Pass, I would have no incentive on actually just buying the game because it's £70. So another way of looking at it from a PC Game Pass perspective is that in the UK the PC Game Pass is £10 a month. This game costs £70 a month. So that's 7 months of Game Pass. So it's like, are you going to play this for a whole year? Or like, how do you justify the costs and stuff? Is it better to just pay for Game Pass and not buy the game? Now, later on, I might be wrong about this. I'm not into Call of Duty stuff for like monetization. Correct me if I'm wrong here, but I was told that Call of Duty sometimes does DLC map packs where you pay for them. Um, and if that's the case, does Game Pass get those DLCs for free, or do you have to pay
No.
that extra as well? So Game Pass doesn't get the DLCs.
From what I am told, Game Pass does not get the DLC. Usually Maker would come in and correct me with the facts here, but I'm the only one here, so I'm gonna say no DLC with Game Pass, and I'm gonna look it up in the
I
background.
will think. Well,
So
because Call of Duty Activision got bought by Microsoft, there's a possibility there, I will say.
yeah, so basically the way I predicted or projected would be Black Ops 6 would have a higher increase in player size, but lower initial sales because of Game Pass. And it's just Game Pass doing its thing. It's up to Microsoft if they think, oh, it's worth it or not. They're the ones who spent like 69 billion or whatever. But yeah, I'm happy with it. It's consumer friendly.
So confirmed, Game Pass provides you with the base game. DLC is typically and most often a separate purchase. However, for older titles, they may include the DLC. For instance, if they introduce like the gold version of a game. But typically for new games, DLC is extra. And yeah, Maker confirms
There you go.
DLC is extra for the new games. So there you go. You'll have to purchase it, and that will be a good experiment whether or not people opt in for more on the DLC side. Vet, I know you don't want to talk about Black Ops, so I'm going to skip you for this one, but I'll get you in on the next one. I know it's not your favorite topic, so I'm just being respectful on that one. But SPG, what do you think of the Game Pass experiment with Call of Duty? Do you think it's going to be better for Sledgehammer Games? Do you think it's going to be better for Microsoft? Or do you think all parties will lose?
Well, Jem touched on something that it's good for the consumer at this point, and that's great. Is that going to change? I don't know. But the way I see it is it's less of an experiment, and it's just about where they're getting their profit from. Microsoft doesn't actually want to sell you Call of Duty for $80. They want to get you into their ecosystem or the Game Pass and have you keep it for a year, regardless if you're still playing that game. So where they want their profits is not from the game itself anymore. It's from a service that they can provide to you. This is the way the industry's going. It's much like the music industry and how they had to shift. It's much like how the movie industry had to shift. We're seeing a shift now, and if we like it or not, that's the way it's heading. They want money from you every month, regardless of the title you're actually trying to play. That's what they want, and that's what they're going to get. Because I like games and I'm going to keep buying them. Now, with this model, the experiment is like, is this going to be profitable for them? Are people going to do what Gem did and pay for 1 month, gold, platinum the damn thing, and then like exclude themselves from Game Pass? You know, that's kind of what the experiment is. But the industry wants live service, and they don't want a one-time fee from you and then to keep updating their servers. They want a perpetual income from you, and I think that is honestly where the industry is going to be headed. We're going to see it in all kinds of games, even games that it doesn't make sense in. But Microsoft, I believe, in this scenario is going to win. I'm glad consumers are winning with them. When that changes, that's going to be a problem.
Absolutely. One word answer. I'm going to go down the line. Will the next Call of Duty be on Game Pass next year? And we'll start with Jim.
Yes.
Vet? SPG?
Yep.
Nads?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. I guess it's a unanimous yes across the boards. Okay, well, I was just showing some Call of Duty Zombies in the background, and honestly, I love that mode. It's so much fun. But I want to get into the next topic, which is still along the same veins here, but we have Activision Blizzard walking out, which is a little bit sad to see. I didn't want to talk too much about, layoffs and stuff, but this is going to be that portion of the show. So we have Activision Blizzard worker group alleged that the company refused to provide reasonable accommodations for employees with medical conditions or other circumstances. The workers, with support from Communication Workers of American Union. So this is a massive strike. They've all sort of gathered together. And it's a little sad to see, and yeah, I'm not sure how this is gonna work out too much for the better of anybody in terms of gamers, but I guess this is more news just to let you know. If anyone wants to comment on it, let me know, but I know people are gonna want to comment on the next one.
Yeah, I'll comment on this.
Yeah, go for it.
There's it's not just Activision Blizzard. There's a lot of companies where they really want you to go back into studio, especially after the pandemic. I don't know why that is. I don't know why they're so adamant on getting everyone into the studio in the offices, because remote work, it works. And I can relate to this. I worked at Blizzard on Overwatch for a while, and I was working full remote. And funny enough, my job was to test the levels. So some form of QA here. So I was able to work fully remotely on my own machine, and there's no issues whatsoever. So I don't know where is this coming from for all these tech and gaming companies where they really want you to go back into the office, because you can work remotely without any hassle. You don't actually need to be there anymore.
Oh, so this
I think that has to do with control.
A remote office play. I understand it now. But Nads, yeah, go for it.
So I think I think COVID created a lot of change, and working from home showed that it was something that it was doable, and we saw a lot of company doing that across the world and across the industry, right? But I think it's coming back to the company having control on every member, and noticing if they're paying them, if it was worth, if the outcome of them working from home is work and has this social aspect to it, I guess. But the fact they don't want to accommodate like people with disability or anything like that is kind of a wrong thing. I don't know if Microsoft has anything to do in the background, but it's definitely looking bad for Activision and Blizzard to do that. But I've seen it through other industry where like they were like telling people, "Oh, you got to come back to work in an office 3 times a week now," and it's causing a lot of issue because people like don't really need to go back. They provided all the supplies to work from home, so why now going back? And I feel like higher management want to control. They want to see people working in the place, and they're spending a lot of money into renting an area if they haven't buy the building, if that makes sense. So
Yeah,
I think that's a
it's all about productivity and cost. They believe that having the people in the office will make it more productive. You'll be more productive. And then they also have the cost of maintaining the building, maintaining all their equipment, like at a place that nobody's coming to. But there's also layers to this as well. Any company that the people have to get together and have a walkout or do something to get better workplace conditions, I'm all for, because the heads up don't care.
Oh, definitely. And that's just it. It's like
He's
if
alive.
the member can work, if the member can work from home and has like a higher quality of life, a higher quality of working space, because he's at home, he's gonna invest into his home. But then he show up to work to old building, falling apart. Like I don't know, the air quality is shit. Doesn't have a heating or cooling system in his office or like anything like that. They don't want to go back there. Like they're fine to stay at home. But like the company are like, well, we're gonna spend this money into the building. It's not gonna be as nice as your house, but like everything is there. And it has to do also with um like the work that the member is putting, where does it go? Do they have some sort of cloud system? Now they have to increase the security on that to make sure there's no hacker tapping into it. Or like, maybe it's a control of like the all the information that is being built, like if like it's being sent by email or anything like that. A lot of companies like to have their own infrastructure, their own network, and nothing get out of there, if that makes sense. And then working from home, it kind of like doesn't maintain that, if what I'm saying makes sense. But like, yeah, I think that's some of the reasoning. Hopefully, we can see some change in that trend.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure there's going to be a shift. There needs to be some sort of employee solution which creates a virtual, safe network for people. But we'll definitely be letting you know as it progresses. And I'm always not one to like to talk about this, but needs to be said. And it sucks from the work from home movement needs more power. But let's talk about another shutdown that's definitely been rocking the airwaves, and I know a lot of people are going to want to talk about this one. We have Sony shutting down Neon Koi as well as Firewalk Studios. Firewalk Studios is obviously known for their work on a multiplayer shooter known as Concord, the 5v5 hero shooter. The reasons for closure are Herman Hulst, head of PlayStation Studios, cited ensuring we are meeting near and long-term business priorities. And damn, that was brutal. So Neon Koi was a mobile title maker, and Firewalk Studios made Concord. Neon was about 30 or so people, while Firewalk was, I believe, around 170. So the closures seem to indicate that Sony is focusing on resources to establish PlayStation Studios and games with potential wider audience reach, particularly in the live service and multiplayer space. That's right. Not only are they shutting down these two studios, but they are doubling down on live service, and they're still pushing forward creating
What?
those games.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, the industry
Bro,
learns no lessons, bro.
Yes, no, I'm
Mhm.
sorry. Did they not listen? They're shutting down bloody the Concord people because Concord was such a flop, and they're like, okay, but let's do that again with other people. Like, learn your
Yes.
lesson. Learn your lesson. You know,
Well,
we all
they're-
know what Sony does well. Sorry to start a tangent, but we all know
No,
what
go
Sony
for it.
does well. We all know what they do well. God of War, Uncharted, Last of. We know what Sony does well. Stick to your wheelhouse. It's as simple as that. Stick to your wheelhouse. You've got a market there. You have cornered the market on those cinematic solo experiences. Just stick to that. Stop trying to do things you can't do. Stop trying to make a monkey swim. You know. Stop
Hey,
trying to make
but-
a fish try and climb a tree. It's
But the
stupid.
Fortnite
Live
money.
services,
Come
the money.
on.
Yeah, exactly.
Jeez, man.
It's so
Yeah, the live
alluring.
They want
service
a
money
live
is hard to
service.
ignore. Yeah, these are all right.
They want a live service so they can make money without doing any work. Look at that. That's why they bought Bungie, right? Destiny 2 is a live service. Yes, it's struggling, but hey, they're coming out with new IP, or like, Marathon is gonna come eventually. There's like a little video about Marathon lately, mentioning about the status of it, but people want to know where it's at. But like, it's a live service that it's a constant money income coming in, where like one story is like, yeah, the story is done, they don't invest as much, maybe they put out a DLC, but like, it's better to put a game out there that people are coming back to all the time than instead of creating a game from scratch, because it's very expensive for a company to create a new game from scratch, a new story.
Well, I wouldn't say it's better.
I'm
It's just
coming
got a
up
higher
with-
chance to hit stupid numbers. It's got a higher chance to
Yeah.
hit those infinite, constant residual income, right? That's
And
that's
that's
what
what
those live services
Sony-
have a chance of running.
Is looking
Yeah.
to do. They're looking to tap into their original IPs and create more live service. They're not giving up on it. But Dorgon, did you want to comment on Sony shutting down Firewalk and Neon Koi Studios? Thanks for jumping into the panel.
I was jumping in for the workplace one, and speaking of, my workplace is literally calling me now, so sorry to
Oh, no
duck and
worries.
dive, but I'm gonna have to jump
irony.
out.
Take care,
Oh,
man.
welcome.
Thanks for jumping in. Jem, did you want to comment on Sony shutting down Concord?
It's pretty much what Wilson said. Like, they should stick to what they do best. And I did mention this a few months ago when Concord came out. I think Sony, like, if they want to do the live service thing, I think they should focus on co-op, because they've nailed the solo experience, the cinematic solo experience, but they don't really have that many co-op games. You got Helldivers 2, which was a massive, great success. Just do that again. Just do more co-op games, and I think like having that cinematic experience plus co-op, I think they'll do it. Like it'll be a huge success like most of the time. And in fact, just take the IPs you already have or create new ones. Like the thing with Sony is that they are good at creating whole new IPs. Most of them are usually a hit. So just do that. Just do a co-op game. If you're so adamant on getting a live service game, just stick to co-op. Well, try co-op, not stick to, but try co-op. See how that goes.
They should just
Right.
invest into Eldiver because it's so popular and
I
still like a
know.
good game.
Give us more stuff to do.
Helldivers is
but-
a controversial one, though, isn't it? Because it's popular, but it also gets like, oh, it doesn't have enough work done. Oh, we don't know what the true population is. Like, it's a bit of a controversial one of those Sony eggs, right?
Yeah, but even like if you look at the bugs and stuff like that, people are not too mad about the bugs. If you compare it to single player game or and like looking at Arrowhead being their first major game, I'll say, that came out and did so well and found the Sony, people are not even worried about the bugs because it's funny. Because the co-op piece, they made a good recipe, put it together, And then you look at the last one we played, we're just killing each other at the end because what the hell? It's just fun, right? It's just they create that environment.
I wasn't
and
in on that joke.
Perfect solution.
I'm the one who died because Maker threw the freaking orbital on top of us before we got to extract.
Jem is spot on. Jem is saying that, you know, if they do co-op, that would probably fix some stuff because they're really good at their single-player stuff. I totally agree with that.
Well, it's like a stepping stone.
Well, listen, but the problem is that they've doubled down on live service. So for the next 6 years, we have that to look forward to. That's their business model, or that's their idea for like this run. They've already invested all that money in those live services. We have so many coming down the pike. And as Rudig stated before, all these are based on trends that are popular now. It takes 8 years to make a game. What are we doing?
Yeah.
They're setting up all kinds of studios for failure. And my issue is that art is running straight into it's your job. Like a lot of these people aren't excited about the projects that they're working on, and that can be an issue as well. Like it is about money. They do have to make a profit, but this live service stuff is getting out of hand. I wish the industry would learn some lessons here.
So
well said,
big company are similar to the government, right? They have a fund they create for a project, and the project is like invest into live service. We're gonna populate that many games in the span of 10 years, let's say. We're gonna create all those games. We're gonna share it between studios, see which studios stand out, and it's basically almost shooting a dart at the board and seeing which one is stick, right? Concord was a flop; it didn't stick. Maybe the next game, because maybe Helldiver was part of that project. They're like, hey, let's invest in Arrowhead and see where that game goes. It's a hit, awesome. Let's try Concord. No, it's a flop. Okay. We're at 50%, let's say. What's the next game? Maybe this one's going to stick. So maybe there's a budget within the company. They're like, let's invest into those, right? Similar to Microsoft, they bought like a bunch of company. They're like, let's invest into those, see what stick, what doesn't stick. And then we can close down some studio and collapse them and move the people, like the people that we want to keep, move into that other studio to work on that game because they have the experience on this and that.
Here's how wrong Sony actually is. If they would have spent 400 million on Helldivers 2 versus 400 million on Concord, did the Switch bought Arrowhead instead of buying Firewalk Studios? Like, that's having good foresight in business.
Or
right?
400 million.
Is it foresight or is it playing the dice well, though? Because is Concord that much worse than Helldivers, or is it just a roll of the dice? Is it that much worse?
No, it's like this, dude. Listen, to get the one Fortnite, they're allowing 9 companies or 9 titles to fail to get that 10th Fortnite. That's what they're willing to do.
Yeah, they're willing to spend. They've got a piggy bank from all their games previous, the PS4 era, and they're going to roll the dice as much as they can. And unfortunately, we're not going to get that many games this generation from PlayStation, but that's what it is.
You're going to get many games moving
Not only that,
forward.
Yeah, I mean, think of game preservation. Like, all these live service games that come out for this generation, if you go buy a PlayStation 5 in 15 or 20 years, what games are you actually going to play on it? Think about that a little bit.
What games are you even going to be able to play anymore?
That's what I mean.
Servers are offline, yeah.
Welcome to piracy, boys.
It's been fun talking with you. I would love to talk longer, but I need to go out and go meet my lovely partner. I'm still in Edinburgh. So thank you for having me on the panel. You've been wonderful.
Always a pleasure.
You, my friend.
Recover, David.
Love you.
Catch you all later.
Wear a condom.
Oh, that poor dog.
Oh my god. Well, that twisted
there are
two
certain
sharp
things
turns.
that should not be said on YouTube. That's one of them.
Sorry, I thought I said that inside my head.
Well, Concord's dead, Firewalk's dead. Let's move on to something else I wanted to get the panel's opinion on. Everyone has heard a Nintendo Switch 2 rumor And I just heard another one. Guess
I haven't.
what? It could be launched November 5th, literally 4 days away. And there is a reliable source that says the new console is coming extremely close, except there's no official announcements, and these are just rumors. So, in my opinion, there is no way this could be true, because why would they? I could see maybe an official announcement trailer coming November 5th, but there's no way they're dropping the console as a stealth drop. They're going to do pre-orders. But I'll take it through the panel. I'm just curious, what kind of Nintendo Switch 2 rumors have you heard? So I want to go through one rumor, or you can let me know if you think the Switch 2 is going to get a release on the 5th. So we'll start with Dorgon here at the top.
I don't think we're getting it on the 5th. Reason being is Nintendo like to build the hype. They let us know about Pokemon, like basically the Arceus game for the French region in Z, a year before it's coming out, and they announced it as a Switch title, not a Switch 2 title. So I would see this because they've literally told us that they will announce the Switch 2 or the Switch's successor before the end of this financial year. So before April 2025, we are hearing about the Switch 2 and when it's going to come out. In terms of what it's going to be, I've seen many different patents that they've got, and some of those are incredible, like a Switch in the vein of the DS. So it's a folding hybrid, plugs in and docks and gives you 4K on your television, but then you take it out and you've got a dual screen experience like the old DS and 3DS. How those games would actually run and work is beyond me, but I expect we will see something with 5 to 7 year old tech in it, because that is Nintendo's way of doing things. They take old tech and make it new again, and it also means developers can do the most with it because they already have expertise within that technology. And it will sell like hotcakes as long as they keep bringing the solid software. That is all I can say. Otherwise, I don't know what it's going to look like, how it's going to operate, but we have heard that existing Joy-Cons will work with the new console, which is probably quite good for all of these third-party accessories that people have bought.
Well, that would be cool to have your accessories work with the new console. Nads actually posted a picture. He got early access to the Switch 2.
Yeah, I'm not
Except your
supposed to
picture was a
mention
little
it.
fishy.
Yeah, well, I'm not supposed to mention about it, but I do have the new Switch 2 Nintendo sent me. I don't know if you can show a picture on for everybody to see, but the screen is amazing. The graphic, like wow, the controller are huge. Lifelike, yeah, exactly. But yeah, no, I've heard a rumor also that the Switch 2 is coming. I heard a rumor for so long. It was similar to when the Switch one was about to come out. Maybe they're gonna announce that they're working on the Switch 2 on November 5th. But
so
like,
what you're saying is
here's the Switch 2.
Are you saying that Nads is the prominent leaker? I knew there's something fishy about this.
Yeah.
Vet, did you want to go over your favorite Nintendo Switch 2 rumor?
Well, I heard that it's not getting released until March 2025 to curb scalping and make sure they have enough stock to satisfy demand for it. The whole November 5th, I don't know about that. I've read the things, but they are there is concerns about there is supposedly a meeting with the investors and all that about it on that day as well, so that kind of ties in the meeting with investors on November 5th. But the company, there's rumors also saying the company is struggling to impress with the current lineup of products, so dropping an early release for a new console would definitely boost sales right before Black Friday. But I would lean towards a March 2025 release date, in all honesty.
Well, here's the thing, Rue. When is the next Nintendo Direct anyway? Because as Dorgon was saying, man, Nintendo's not going to stealth drop a system and
Hold on, Nads, can you tell us when is the next Direct? You're the leaker, right?
Yeah, I cannot mention about that.
Well, I mean,
tend to
so
have a
like they
direct
do.
in November.
Okay, so they do build hype for these things, and they're not going to drop a system that is rumored, as you wanted to know about our favorite rumors, that is rumored to be as powerful as the PlayStation 4. Nintendo with that kind of power would blow my mind. He would probably blow the industry's mind. They're very innovative. So
I like innovative.
Maybe it can be a cloud console.
So
it will not, Nance. It will definitely be not.
Are you saying, SPG? Are you implying that if it has the power of the PS4 inside the palm of your hand, that you will stream Nintendo games?
Well, what I'm trying to say is you're not going to see the Switch 2 without a new Zelda title. You're not going to see the Switch 2 without a new Mario title. And these things aren't going to be shadow dropped along with a system out out of nowhere. Like they're not going to do that.
Well, they
have
posted
new Mario
articles.
RPG coming out. Is there
There
not a
are
Mario RPG coming out soon? That could be
yeah, they have
the game they drop with it.
Brotherhood in Concordia, but I agree. I think you need a mainline Mario game, but we are expected. Odyssey came out like 7 years ago, so I'm sure the mainline Mario game is expected to come out. I could see that partnered with the Switch, but we will see the future. And I just wanted to bring this up because everybody loves a good Nintendo Switch 2 rumor, and the new rumor is 4 days from now you will hear about it.
Can I start a new rumor on this channel?
Yeah, go for it, Jeff.
Yes.
Go for it.
So, we're all about that.
Someone looked at the manufacturing company for Nintendo, and they found out that they're spending a lot of money. Well, they already have last 2 months, and then they're going to increase production and build a whole new factory within a few months. And Nintendo has always been their biggest supplier, so people think that this is probably going to be the Switch 2. And going off that would mean that the Switch 2 has already hit manufacturing stage just less than 2 months ago. And if that is the case, then if that is the case, then I expect an announcement in November and then a release date maybe March or April. That's my rumor that I'm starting right now. my
Quite
prediction.
possible.
Yeah.
Can you send me Jim? Can you send me the memo on that?
I believe it's either going to be called the Super Switch, because why not, or the Sony Switch. But
it's the PlayStation Switch. We've had this discussion. We've had this discussion. We all know it's the PlayStation Switch.
I think they're titling it the real Portal.
Yeah.
Do you think that could happen? That Nintendo regain that affiliation with Sony? Because remember, before Sony released the PlayStation 1, Nintendo 64 was supposed to be a mix of Sony and Nintendo, right? It was supposed to be a console that come out together. Maybe there's this plan to do that. Who knows? Can you imagine if Sony and Nintendo decide to partner? How Microsoft's going to get hurt or the other companies?
To be fair, I could see that because Nintendo got, they got the raw end of the deal when they got rid of the Nintendo PlayStation and then let Sony create it, and look what happened.
Yeah.
I think you guys have been drinking too much maple syrup.
No.
The syrup is strong in this
I was banned. I was banned because of the syrup. But Nintendo technically created PlayStation, so theoretically, it's they're the dad to Sony's empire of PlayStation.
Well, it was a joint venture, and they backed out. Nintendo backed out,
right?
Because Nintendo thought it was going to be a joke, and yet. Yeah, let's not get me started on this.
But
the
that's the history
hole
of Nintendo. I appreciate everyone dropping some rumors in. But if it does drop in 4 days, you know that the download was right on this one.
Yes.
All right. Well, let's jump into the next one. And this is one that goes out to a special article I'd like to dedicate to Certified Doctor. So we have Steam now requires developers to tell people when their games have kernel mode anti-cheat. So looking at you, Doc, if you're watching. Steam now requires developers to explicitly disclose when their games use kernel mode anti-cheat software. This information must be clearly presented on the store page before purchase. Kernel mode anti-cheat has been a source of controversy due to the potential security risks and vulnerabilities. This changes aims and gives players more information about software running on their system. Developers and publishers need to update their store pages to comply with this new policy. This includes specifying the anti-cheat tools are used and whether they operate at the kernel level. So this story talks all about anti-cheats. Gem, you had provided me with this one. Did you want to give me a little bit of background into what's happening here with this kernel mode?
Yeah, just explain why it matters that it's at the kernel level. How about that?
Yeah.
Okay, so
because it's popcorn to me at this point.
So
I like popcorn.
So kernel is basically the kernel is basically the process that comes before the operating system. So if you have access to kernel, you have access to the operating system and all your files and folders and whatever you do. Anything you do, let's say you're using Windows, anything you do on Windows, the people with the kernel access can see everything and you won't even know about it.
So you're above admin. You're supreme leader.
You're so above admin. You're pretty much God. you're not the president of the U.S. You are God.
Oh no, we're gonna see Colonel Vet soon.
So
rebrand.
So the good side about this is the
That's a rumor.
So the anti-cheat side will be good with this because if you've got kernel access, you have access to the mouse and keyboard data, and you can use algorithms to predict, is this guy aimbotting or not, or are they using macro hotkeys to like shoot faster, rapid fire, whatever? Are they using macro scripts? So kernel can detect that with your algorithms and stuff, but even then, it's not perfect because people can always just work around it. It's like, oh, this aimbot is detected. Let me just tweak it a little bit. This one's not detected for now because the algorithm doesn't detect that. But the another issue is that it's kernel access. So if the anti-cheat gets hacked, then you get hacked. And that has happened before. And I think it was on Valorant where I watched this video like 2 years ago where all they did was go into a match with someone else and they have all the IP addresses and the MAC address of those computers.
Damn.
And they just logged in and played around with the files. And they literally in the game itself, in the chat, they said, "Hey, look on your desktop. I left the file on there." And the guy just like, "Oh, what now?" And then he just went into his services and exited his game of I forgot the game I just said.
Valorant.
Yeah, Valorant. He literally closed his Valorant game so he could win the match. I'm like, yeah, I'm not installing this game. Like, kernel. At some point you got to say, is this even worth it? Like, is it really worth being this vulnerable just to be on a hack-free game, even though it's not guaranteed that's a hack-free game?
Yeah, so you could be like barring the front door with all the locks you want, but if the back door is wide open and swinging in the breeze, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
And I think they're putting this policy in place because of the Steam Deck also. Because the Steam Deck, they sell a device to be played on. They cannot control the PC, but they can control the device. And it probably has to do with porting a lot of game to the device. So
wow.
That's my 2 cents on that.
Well, hope Doc was listening. We'll have to clip this one and I'll send it to his DMs just so he's up to date on what he needs to get around to be able to
Seems
do
like
this
another
thing.
questionable decision by Valve, to be honest.
A fixed account can be banned on PUBG. Let's do it, Doc.
I think you should check your desktop. I think Doc left you something there.
Yeah. Oh shit. Cool. It's good to know. And yes, Vet has already changed his name to Colonel Vet.
What? Somebody must have hacked my kernel.
All right, this is going to be a fun one here. Well, not fun for Google, or I don't know how Google's going to respond, but Russia fines Google 20, and this is a real number that they wrote down on paper and sent to somebody, $10 So there's 34 zeros for refusing to pay previous fines related to blocking pro-Russian channels on YouTube. The initial fines were imposed because Google refused to restore several YouTube channels blocked since 2022, which the Kremlin claims are important for disseminating information. The fines have escalated dramatically, and this is a dramatic escalation because they double every week. That means next week it's probably already $40 decillion by now.
Okay, so now can I say something about that? Because I got a lovely. Very nice.
The last thing is the Kremlin spokesperson has stated that this fine is filled with symbolism. So the Kremlin is saying that this is symbolism because obviously, that's $20 bajillion. But go bet.
If you take that number, right? There is not. If you take all of the money in the world and I do not counting non-real currency, so like cryptocurrency, all that crap, gold, all of that, just actual money in every country, that doesn't even put a dent into that fine. There isn't they want more money than what's available in the entire world in every single country. They're not very smart. Like it's never gonna happen. Like that's just
paper tiger.
It's backlash for what's going on overseas right now. It's just more of East versus West. That's all this is.
SPG, did you want to comment on Russia?
Yeah. Listen, man. This is a paper tiger. This is all symbolism. That is it. And why is it like? How much is Google concerned with this? Well, zero, because we don't have Russia overlords. Okay, the planet doesn't. Like that's what it would take. But this is all symbolism, it's very interesting that you say that these channels are very, very important for disseminating information. But maybe it's disinformation. We don't know. I don't know what this is all about. But the symbolism of the amount is hilarious because like you'd have to wake up in the Twilight Zone to try to collect any of that.
So I heard a rumor that it was all due to propaganda against the PSSR, and that's why they slapped that fine on them.
Hey, buy Sony, comrade.
PSSR.
So it sounds like Google's
sorry.
never coming back to Russia.
Let's be honest though, on a slightly serious note, what are they going to do? As Vet has already said, there isn't even that much money anywhere in the world, let alone that Google themselves own. So that's not going to do anything. And this foreign correspondent, he was on BBC News over here the other day saying Russia did not invade Ukraine. There's literal video evidence to the contrary. I mean, he's not exactly a trustworthy man. What are they going to do? Just keep pontificating and hope that somebody starts paying something somewhere along the lines? Or do they just think this will win favor in the hometown or something like that? Like, it's just dumb. It makes them look dumber than they've acted already.
I think this is a political move. That's all it is. So if I may, so basically, Russia like to point out some stuff to United States that they did in the past. In this case, is like, oh, freedom of speech. You have that in the United States. Why are we not allowed to use a software that's developed in the United States to give freedom of speech? And that's where it comes back to. It's like pointing out the obvious to the American people, and it's a form of propaganda to say like, see, you think Russia is bad, but look at your government, what they control. We're not even allowed to mention anything about the pro-Russian people, because like company like Google that's owned by United States control what's being posted on there. And that's all it is, basically.
All I have to say is USA. USA.
USA.
Well, that's an interesting perspective. Thanks for sharing that, Nance.
But yeah.
Let's now I want to end off because I have a feel-good story. And I think a feel-good story is nice, right? Everybody wants to hear a feel-good story.
Always better.
And No Man's Sky developer has fixed a game-breaking bug for a player with over 600 hours in their save file. The bug caused significant visual glitches, making the game unplayable. Well, step in the developer, Martin Griffiths, and he felt it was important to fix the issue due to the player's dedication to the game. He stated, "When a player has put that much time into our game, it deserves the engineering fix." Well, fixing the bug was challenging due to the game's many platforms and variations, because let's face it, this thing is on everything. It's on your fridge if you want it to be. And this highlights the ongoing commitment of Hello Games to supporting No Man's Sky and its players. So, absolutely feel good, nice to hear. A little bit of propaganda in there, but still, you gotta feel for the player, and it's a nice little touch here. Anyone want to say something on the niceness of develop? You gotta go for it.
I do, but do we have to end on a solid positive note? Because
no. At least I said something nice.
Okay, well, I feel Callie's brain on fire right now because he's got a save that is that long, and he tried to migrate a save or whatever, and it got lost in limbo, and he gets no help from the developers on that. And it's on their website that you can migrate saves or whatever he was actually getting done and doing. And anyway, I just had to bring that up. Callie would be able to explain it better, but he's not with us today. But I had to bring up Callie would poop on this article.
Well, thanks for that. Well, it's still nice to see they picked one person to pick. Yeah, you wanted to go, Dorgon?
I was going to say, it is a good thing, and it's good that they've done it. I've just done some very rough mathematics. If you've got like a 37.5-hour week, which is standard working time over here, for 52 weeks of the year, you work around the 900 hours per year. So somebody outside of their full-time job has put nearly a year's worth of work into playing these guys' games, and they should fix issues that stop them. But it is one of those. For every one good news article like this that you will hear and see, there'll be thousands that have been ignored or not sorted out and such. And both sides should be heard and recognized. This is great for that one player, but they need to be doing it for the thousands of others as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, definitely. And I like the fact that they took some action on this. But again, like you say, I think they need to do more, but yeah, good to hear that. Hopefully, Kelly can get his game sorted so he can continue playing.
Yes, well, that is the download for this week. You can find more download hitting you every single week on Fridays, and if you want to get to know these content creators more, we're going to go through some shout-outs. So what's been going on? We'll start with the top. Dorgon, what you been up to? And please just keep going down the line because I'm getting a phone call right now.
All right, starting with me, I have got a couple of shorts out of my Astrobot speedruns. There'll be another one coming shortly when I absolutely destroy Rudigs's time. I'm only a second ahead of him at the moment, but
Wow.
As soon as that's done,
Shots
I'll go
fired.
even further beyond. Otherwise, I'm working on a review of a controller accessory that's meant to help people in certain games. I've got a couple of other videos in the works as well, just trying to get through stuff. Rue, you probably want to turn that screen off that's got the person's number on.
Yep.
Moving on, who's next?
Jim. Go for it, Jim.
Yeah, so I was distracted.
All right, I'm back. I'm back. Sorry for the
doing
phone
it
call.
live.
We're doing it live.
Yeah.
Jeb,
I'm
shout it
sorry.
out where people can find you, what you're going to be up to this week.
So, are we all going to call that poor person back and see who it actually was? Well, I'm not,
Yes,
because I haven't
I
got
am.
international minutes.
I am. I'm already on the phone with them.
Yeah, Rudigs, if you're
Excellent.
confused, the screen was up on the screen, like the phone number.
Oh, the phone
We could
number.
see who
oh,
was
that's
calling
fine.
you, the actual
It was
phone
spam.
number.
It was spam.
Okay,
okay,
fair
it's
play.
fine.
That's fun on
Yeah.
back.
Now
yeah.
I'm calling back.
Feel free
I was like,
to
I don't know
call
what-
that person and bug
Hey,
them.
my cell phone provides free call. I get free calls to Canada with my cell phone carrier, so I shall be doing that as soon as the show's over.
Well, the phone call might not be from Canada.
Yeah, it doesn't
No,
matter.
it definitely was not.
I get free calls everywhere.
But were we on Jem Dorgon? Did you do your shout out? Sorry.
Got distracted halfway through, forgot where I was, so I passed it on to Jem, yeah.
Yeah, I was distracted by the number as well.
All right. Vet. We're skipping both of you.
No, hold on.
Okay.
Let me tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to call that number.
We'd like to talk to you about your car warranty.
Vet, tell me
Yes.
what's up.
Well, right now it's that phone number. No, I'm just kidding. No, you can find me in the Discord. I'll be hanging out with all of these fine people, you know, doing shenanigans and stuff. Otherwise, I jump in as best I can when SPG does his streams on Tuesday nights. You can find me on YouTube and with Ray doing our sports show. Other than that, I might have some videos showcasing some gaming stuff coming up at some point over the weekend. I don't know yet.
And it's a babe station? What is a babe
Hey,
station?
Rudig, that's where you get your hair done. You know it.
SPG, give yourself a shout out here. What's going on?
You can find me at YouTube's at Simply Pwned Gaming. Gonna maybe play some Killing Floor 2 today. Don't know yet.
And Mr. Nads, shout yourself out.
Yeah, so as usual, we got a podcast on the Sunday and also Eldiver Monday. And as usual, we're going to keep going with Among Us on Tuesday night because we're having so much fun. But stay tuned for more video. As usual, Rudigs, I like to post some nice videos, some nice streams. So probably going to get back into Greedfall, finish the first one so I can jump on the second one.
And
yeah,
we've been given something we need to stream as well, haven't we, Nance?
Yes, that's right. So I'll be streaming some Dragon Age Vanguard coming up.
I think it's Veilguard. Is it Veilguard?
Oh, Veilguard. Yeah, Veilguard. Sorry.
Yeah,
the newest one.
Copyright, copyright, run away!
It actually looks really, really good. I'm on like the third mission. But anyways, thanks for
This is
coming
the
by.
man who asked why there were dragons in it.
There has not been a single dragon. I did say there's too many dragons. Listen, we need to stop fighting dragons.
In a game called Dragon Age.
Yeah,
about
dragons
Small problems, man.
Anyways, thanks everyone for coming by, hanging out with us. We'll be back with more download next week. Until then, check out Cyborg City. Everybody have a good one out there. Be kind, and take care.
See y'all.
All right, and it's
Try to believe in me. Why try do I even need to? I die with the season leaves. I glide with the season breeze. True, my mind so easily spooked. I ride just to be the me who finds hype super decently smooth. Nice type, but as sick as me.